I love that you guys are here nice and on time because what I'm going to talk about today is how to convert data into dollars and help you become a customer magnet. So today, I want to pose you a question. Of all the options that all of your customers have, what makes them come to you? And as you think about that, the answer of why they come to you versus anyone else is the secret of bringing loyalty and repeat customers to run your business. So today we're going to talk a little bit about how consumers make decisions to purchase from you based on rational and emotional information, and what those signals are, what's the neurochemistry behind it, and more importantly, how you can use technology to find that emotional and logical information to drive your business. So first, let's do a little example. Let's do a little exercise. If you came into the store, you looked on the shelf, and you said, okay, there's sriracha. Sriracha is, not in every store, but it's popular enough, and we know they're giving customers little people or something like that. Now imagine you go to the store and you see sriracha for $30. And you think, that's kind of expensive. I wonder how much it normally is. So what will you do? Yes, Google search to see where else you could buy it and what those prices are. So pretend you go on Google, you go on Amazon, and you realize, wait a minute, I can get sriracha for $5. Which one would you buy? Would you pay the $30 or will you wait a couple hours and buy the $5? $5. Who here would pay $30 for the expensive one? Nobody, right? Why? We're rational creatures. We know it's the same product. Logically, same product, different price, they're going for the cheapest option. So that's an example of rational data. But imagine you're a new parent. Imagine if your first child, you did all the research to see what's best for your child, and you look at, for example, what's the best preschools and also what's the best food for your child. And you see these rankings of different foods, and pretend as a new parent, wanting to do the best for your child, you see that somebody had done a ranking of this brand, which is organic, minimal temperatures, and then they rank from best to worst, and they rank another one as bad. Now, it's not poisonous, it's on the shelf, but it's considered bad. You go to the store, intending on buying the good one, and you see it's double the price. Who here would buy the organic for double the price? Who here would buy the cheaper one for half the price? Why?
Because I don't believe in organic.
Don't believe in organic. How about you? Same. How about you guys? Buy the expensive one. Okay. So see, there's a variation. Why would you buy the expensive one? Your child what? Quality. Yes, quality for your child. Absolutely. See, there we see already a differentiation of customer segments. Some are looking just rationally at the price. Some are having an emotional pull of why to pay more. Last example. Pretend you're on your honeymoon and you're holding hands with your partner and you're in Paris and you're walking down this cobblestone street and you smell something that smells like croissants. And then you walk a little closer and you see all these Parisians waiting outside at this bakery. And you look at each other and think, this might be the best croissant place of all of Paris. So you keep on walking, you see this whole line of people, and next door to that store, there's a grocery store. And in that grocery store, you go into the package section, you see all the breads, and you see packaged croissants. And then you pick it up, okay, it's packaged, you flip it over, it's made in England. So you're kind of wondering, which one do I buy? Now, the packaged croissant was $1. And the freshly baked croissant in the best bakery of all of Paris was $50. Which one would you buy? The package?
It's all worth it. It's not a question. Yes.
The expensive one. This one, the $50 one.
Oh, it's worth $50. I'm gonna go.
Not 50. What about you guys?
Not for 50, but for 5.
For 5? Whoa. You are a good savvy buyer. What if this was 25? What about 10? Yes? Maybe. Who would say no for 10 versus 1? Why would you be willing to pay 10? It's fresh. There's a quality aspect. What about the fact you're on your honeymoon? This is the best place in all of Paris? Would that drive your decision? If you can smell the freshness of it, would that drive your decision? Yes. So you see here, we are all consumers, and just like all your customers, there's a blend of rational and emotional factors to draw people in. And as you see here, the emotional pull is what kind of allows the pricing to go a little up, because it's not just the price that people are using for their decision making. So today I want to talk a little bit about the neuroscience behind that decision making and how you can use that information and use technology tools so that you can optimally sell for your business.
Sure.
So as we see here, the key to effective marketing strategies, the key to enhance customer experience is really the blend between heart and mind. Today, to summarize, I'm going to introduce how consumers make decisions based on rational and emotional decision factors. What you will leave with here today is the neuroscience insights, how people make decisions, and then also using technology to best understand your customers' needs. Now, I talk to companies like yours all the time, emphasizing you need to blend them both. My experience on one side of the spectrum, big data, rational numbers. I worked at Google where all we did was aggregate data of what people wanted, what the trends were, and said, hey, based on rational, logical information, based on the numbers, this is what this shows. On the other side of the spectrum, I worked in advertising. And the secret about advertising, it is all an emotional pull. You're promising by buying this, by having this experience, this is the emotion you will feel. And so today what I do is blend the two, the rational data and the emotional pull to get customers into your doors. So one of the secrets, you might already know if you watch commercials, is that for people to remember things, the best way to remember is through a story. So we're going to start with a story, and this is Jane. Jane is one of your shoppers. And we're going to talk about today how once upon a time, Jane faced a dilemma, where to buy her groceries. And she was torn between a chain store and a local market. Her neighbor raved about the local market's service and their local flair, including stories of locally sourced produce and passionate artisans. Now, neuroscience says people remember stories more than facts because narratives engage in multiple parts of the brain. And I'm talking language processing, sensory experiences, emotion, memory, and they all create a rich neural network, which is why on your shelves, when you have kind of a story for your consumers, consumers will put stuff in their basket that are rich in storytelling. And so the local market won Jane over, not only with the products, but the unforgettable narratives. Now here's another way of explaining to clients when they say, yeah, you know, this emotional stuff, it's kind of blah, blah, I don't know if I want to use that. I ask them a question. Do you remember when we had to remember the multiplication table? 4 times 4 equals 16. 8 times 8 equals 64. How long did it take for you to memorize the multiplication table?
Not long.
You're the smart one there, huh? Well, how old were we when we learned the multiplication table? 6? 8, 6, 8. Now, who has ever seen a 6-year-old watch a movie? Or do you remember when we were 6 or 8 and watched a movie? Do you remember? And have you observed how well they remember the whole storyline? They remember the characters, they remember where they went, they remember what they wore, they remember all the different adventures. And sometimes a kid will remember the entire storyline watching it once. And that is 2 hours worth of content. So you can imagine by having a story, it just sticks in your mind a lot better. And I bet you can remember some of the movies you saw at 6 or 8 years old. And how many years has it been? It just sticks in your brain. So the storytelling aspect of it is getting people to have an emotional pull and staying in there for the next time they need to go grocery shopping. So in the light of storytelling, let's walk through this journey of purchasing through the heart and mind in the lens of Jane. So let's pretend we're trying to figure out how she makes decisions to buy based on rational factors and emotional factors. What is going through her mind during that process and how you can use technology to access that information so that you could blend the two for your customers. Let's pretend Jane walks into your store and she sees, what do you have in front? The sale items. She says, oh, that's a really good price. I'm going to take a look. I've never seen this type of crockery before. And she looks at it, it's locally sourced, it's organic, low sugar. And she thinks, oh, this is really good for my family. But I've never had these before. Let me search to see what the reviews are. Because it has no sugar, it's so healthy, it may not be that good. And she sees 5-star rating. So she says, okay, I'll take a chance, I'll put it in my basket. What's going through her mind right now are the rational factors like price, nutrition information, all these factors that will make Jane think that the rational information puts her brain in a rational point of view. So this is very similar to when you were looking at the structure. Hey, this is a good product, this is a good price, I'm going to look at the numbers, no emotions involved, this is what I'm going to buy. And that's one aspect. And that, as you know, for all of your stores, when you have a good sale or when you have something that is nutritionally good, that does drive the sale. But that's not the only factor. Pretend, and when you think about what Jane is using, your customers are using to figure out what is a good deal, what is good for your family. They're using all sorts of things like shopping apps, etc. Separately, sometimes clients say, well, I don't want to be the low price leader. I don't want to drop my price because that cuts into my profit. What do I do to maximize the quantitative parts? How do I maximize the good price? So I don't know if you guys have done this yourself. Have you ever noticed a lot of grocery flyers? They have the number. They have here's the sale. Here's the dollar amount you pay. Front and center. before you see the product. Did you know that if you have two sets of people and they see sale items, if you see the number first on a sale item and then the product, you perceive it as a better deal and you are more likely to buy than if you see the product and then the price. So actually what you want to do is, for example here, what's the first thing you see on this flyer? $1, right? $1. We think, okay, that's a good deal. And then you think, wow, I can get that for $1? That will get your brain so much more excited than if you see the product and say, oh, it's on sale. Oh, it's $1. So one of the tricks you can use based on neuroscience is if you're going to put something on sale anyway, put the dollar amount first, front and center, then the product. And that's how you maximize the point of having a sale. So that's the rational numbers part. But again, we want to also evoke Jane's emotional responses. So let's pretend Jane already put that sale product in her basket, turns to the left, and then she realizes, wait, I smell lemons. I smell really fresh lemons. And she walks into the produce section, and it's brightly lit, it looks fresh, everything looks fresh, and she sees these big yellow lemons. She picks one up, smells it, and says, this is how it smelled when I picked lemons with my grandma, and I made lemonade. Do you think she's gonna look at the price? Or do you think she's gonna say, you know what? I haven't made lemonade in a long time. I'm just gonna put it in my basket. Which of the two do you think she'll just put it in her basket, or she's gonna nickel and dime how much it costs?
Basket. Okay.
Put it right in the basket. How many of you have said, oh my goodness, this reminds me of something in the past. Oh my goodness, I was in love with this product. You just put it right in your basket. Are you sensitive to price? Maybe less, because now you have the emotional pull. So some of the tricks for an emotional pull with your customers are, number one, packaging. Now we know that we've been walking around here and we think, oh, this looks nice, I'm gonna try this. The presentation and the packaging is critical, not only for your stores, but it's also the experience of people walking into a store. Is it brightly lit? Does it feel like an experience that your customers want to have as they shop in your store? But also, if you look at the trends of what people care about, another one is sustainability. People want to know you have recycled products, it's ethically sourced. Additionally, have you guys walked into a store where it just smells bad? Do you want to buy food from a place that smells bad? No. The food can be fresh, it can be good, but we just kind of don't want to buy it from there. So another emotional pull is having it look good, smell good. The sensories will infer that it's nice and fresh. And if you think about some of the stores that we all shop at, some of the more high-end, little pricier stores, they have a certain feel about them when you go in. You feel like you're having an elevated experience, even though the products might be the same as the products in other stores. And then lastly, nostalgia. Now, again, Jane just went and bought those lemons. She didn't care how much it cost because it reminded her of her past. And you'll see now in stores, sometimes you have things from your childhood and you think, wait a minute, I remember Care Bears or some of these other nostalgic remnants from the 80s and 90s, because people know if you become nostalgic, you're more apt to buy. So now that we have talked about qualitative and quantitative data, how do you use that information to drive your business? So let's talk about some of the quantitative data-related signals for you to leverage information and understand your customers better. So who here uses analytic tools? I mean, for example, Google Analytics, etc. But who here uses tools to track behavior, track price sensitivity? How do you guys know what to charge for your goods?
Yeah.
How do you guys decide what your price would be?
System.
Yes, spreadsheets. And do you do benchmarks? What your next door neighbors are selling for? Absolutely. You probably already know who your competitors are, and you want to see how your prices compare to others. So a lot of this is understanding what the price sensitivity is. Now, imagine you're selling one thing for $1, your next door neighbor grocery store is selling it for $1, but actually your customers would be willing to pay $5 for it. But everyone sells it for $1, so they just buy it for $1. How do you know you can actually increase the price of $5? There are tools like analytics that will tell you not only the behavior, but the price sensitivity and how much people are willing to pay for certain products. Another thing is social media. Who here has been tracking social media to see what's popular, how well people are resounding to different types of promotions, different kind of programs for people to kind of share with their friends of different products? Who here listens to social media or looks on social media? What do you look for on social media? Engagement. Yes. And what types of people are you finding that increases engagement? Stories. What kind of stories? About people. Yes. So there are listening tools for social media that show consumers sentiment about things, stories, effectiveness of promotions. Another way you can use technology is loyalty programs. Who here uses loyalty programs for the stores? Yes. And what have you found with the loyalty programs?
Yes.
Track their behavior, track what they like, track who's buying what. How about here? Similar? How about you guys? So if you look at the various ways you can use technology to look at quantitative information, there are all sorts of ways. A tip is also leveraging that information to figure out how to adjust the price based on what the demand and supply are, and also how flexible people are, how sensitive they are to price. So that's quantitative. How do you figure out qualitative? So social media, you could also see the qualitative, the stories, the sentiments, the mentions. But one of the most underestimated ways that smaller businesses can really understand the emotional pull is talking to their customers. And in one way, of course, doing surveys, asking them, why they go to your store versus anyone else's store. But it's also what customers ask for. And it's a very simple way. So I'll give an example. I was at the grocery store, and there was a sale on kombucha. And I love kombucha, and sometimes it's a little pricey. So I look at the line of kombucha, and I realize it's on sale all week, but my favorite flavor is completely sold out. All the other flavors are there, just not the flavor I want. So what I did was, I found a grocer with the apron and the name tag, and I said, hey, do you have this flavor of kombucha in your back? Because this is my favorite flavor, and you only have sale for a week, and I'm really hoping to catch the sale price. He goes back to the back room, comes back out, and says, you know what, we don't have any in the back room, but I went ahead and ordered it just for you. Come back in 2 days, This whole line of your favorite flavor is going to be all filled, and you can buy as many as you want. As a customer, how do you think that made me feel towards that grocery store? Good? Value, absolutely. How loyal do you think they'll be going to that grocery store versus their competitors? I'll be coming back to that store. Here's the secret. If you are a grocer and you see one flavor being sold out, what would you do? Order more. The guy was going to order more anyway. But having that personal touch to say, hey, I hear you. You want this? I'll get this for you. It creates loyalty and an emotional bond, but it's also great intelligence for the grocer to know what to stock in the store. So it's talking to the customers, making them feel valued, and also really listening of, hey, if I order more of this, people will buy. It's a great way of building that relationship with your customers. And then last thing related to this too, if you have things that are visually appealing, it looks nice. It also activates the brain related to positive emotions. So as you go in and you see it looks nice and feel good when you're there, you're going to associate with positive emotions. So to wrap up, data will drive dollars, which allows you to become a customer magnet. And you do that with rational and emotional signals to get the customer to buy. Now, there's technology that you can use to track what the emotional, what the rational data points are and integrating it together. And by doing so, not only are you bringing loyalty to the customers coming into your store, but it also informs the marketing and all the other engagements you have with your customers. Thank you. I'll give a couple minutes for questions. I think we're about time. Does anyone have any questions? I know sometimes people are shy when there's a